Hey there, today I want to take a quick look at a case by Thermaltake. This is the Core G3. It's a case that's been out for a little bit, but it's still available, so I thought maybe some of you would be interested in taking a look. It kind of got my attention as kind of a cool case. And this is a slim ATX mini tower case. It does support up to an ATX motherboard though. It's kind of intended for those living room environments where you might be doing virtual reality gaming or a home theater PC. It mounts vertically and horizontally, so that's kind of its intended use. Anyways, let's open the box. We'll just kind of do a quick overview of all its features and we'll see what it looks like. All right, well there you have it. There is the Thermaltake Slim ATX Mini Tower PC case, the Core G3. It's kind of got a clear window here, so you can do some gaming elements, get some RGB going in there. This is not glass; it is just an acrylic plastic piece. The power supply, it's going to be the SFX form factor. So it's going to be the small little guy here. We'll mount in there. 4 thumb screws to get each side panel off. Let's go ahead and take that off there. And it's just fairly standard construction. There's really nothing unique about how it's constructed and the panels come off. Just 2 screws. So on the inside here, this box contains the vertical GPU mount cable. It's one of the few cases I've seen that includes that, but there is no option. If you're going to use a video card, you've got to mount it vertically. The bag full of accessories, you've got your screws, you've got the feet for the bottom if you decide you're going to lay it horizontal. Obviously you got your cable bundle for the front panel. There are 2 120mm turbo fans from Thermaltake pre-mounted for you. These are the only 2 fans that are included. This is the drive cage down here. You can put 2 2.5-inch drives or 2 3.5-inch drives. They do mount out the front, so they're kind of hidden. You can't access them without pulling the front cover off. This drive cage does come out. We'll take a look at that in just a second. This case supports all the way up to ATX, so it's ATX, Micro ATX, and ITX will fit in here. The cooling options on this case are going to include, you get 220mm fans in the front. You can get a single 120mm fan on the top. Now this drive cage does come out and there is a fan mounting option here. It's not described anywhere in the documentation, but if you were going to use like an onboard M2 drive and you didn't need this drive cage, it can be removed and you could put a fan down there. All right, so let's look around the other side here. And again, just 2 screws. And looking around the back, there's essentially no room at all here. You get a little bit of a channel right here. So as always, cable management will be a bit of a challenge depending on what you're putting in here. So there really is nothing to speak of over here. On the front panel, you get a power button, obviously, reset button, microphone and headphone jack, 2 USB 3.0 ports and 2 USB 2.0 ports. No USB-C on there. The front panel, it just is kind of the compression fit. It just pops right off. Just give it a good kind of firm tug and it will come off. There is a filter on the back of this. This filter is not magnetic. It just kind of is clipped in. It's a little bit not the simplest one to get back in. It comes out easy enough, but going back in, you've got to kind of thread it underneath all these little clips. And obviously got your fan mounts. These are the drive cages. They do have sleds that come out the front. Just kind of press those together. These are just plastic. You can mount the 3.5-inch drives there, and you got the mounting holes for the 2.5-inch drives there. So to take this drive cage out, there are 2, 4, 6, and 8 screws. There are 2 in the front, or 4 in the front. I don't think the majority of you will need to remove this. I imagine that most people are going to actually use the drive sleds, but then there are 2 screws back here. The filter on the bottom is magnetic. Comes right off. The other 2 screws for the drive cage are underneath this filter here. This, of course, is where another 120mm fan could mount, although that's not described at all. Once all those are out, you can kind of lift up the front. You have to kind of get it over these pegs in here. But that comes out. and use that as another intake fan. If you're going to mount it horizontal, these feet do come off, and it's just 2 screws to get these off. And then at that point you would put the rubber feet on the bottom so it could sit horizontal. So let's go over the accessories. Obviously you get the vertical GPU cable included with it. And because your graphics card is going to sit vertically, there's a line of screw holes here. They're all pre-tapped, and we're going to just adjust these in there, wherever your video card is going to land on there to give it some support. The one piece that is included that is not discussed anywhere in the book are these foam pad mounts. Well, so what the instruction book calls these are VGA isolation pads. It makes no other mention of them, where to put them, where to stick them, but I can only imagine that they're kind of just going to be independent of whatever use case you have. If your video card sits on your motherboard somewhere, you may need to use this to kind of isolate it and protect it. So there's really no direction as to where you need these. The remaining pieces obviously are the rubber feet that go on the bottom. And the bag just has some zip ties and screws, fairly typical of most cases. Removable dust filter on the top. And also I didn't show it, but when you, on the one side panel with the window, you do get a removable magnetic filter on that as well. And there should be some room in here if you choose to do so. At least the pictures from Thermaltake are demonstrating water cooling, some custom loops in there. There's not a ton of room to work with in here, but you could get it done. They've mounted their pump right above the power supply here, and then run their custom loop in here. All right, so overall my impressions of the Core G3 are positive. I think it's a good case. It's built well. It's light, but it's well done. I think it's well thought out. I like the idea that you can mount it horizontally, vertically. They've got all the pieces and components to do that and make it look good. Cooling options for as small and as slim as it is, you do get some options in there. You can definitely make it work. You can do some water cooling in there. You do air cooling if you want. The air cooler maximum, in case anybody cares, is 110 millimeters. The graphics card maximum is 310 millimeters. Don't forget you can do another fan down here, even though that's not described. I think that would work just fine. And so the only thing I don't like about it is the clear acrylic glass. I don't like it when they do acrylic. Obviously glass looks better. Other than that, I think if this fits your use case, fits in your living room, you need kind of a gaming machine in there. I think this kind of is a good fit for that. If you're looking for your next powerhouse gaming rig, for on your desk, this is probably not it. There are definitely better options, I think, that look better, that look cooler, gives you, some better options. So anyways, as always, if you have any questions or comments, put it in the description below. All right, that is going to be it for today. Until next time, have a good day.